Welcome, everybody, in Buckeye Nation. It is Monday night, and you know what that means. It is time to sound off and speak your mind on the OHIO podcast call-in show. I am your host, the Wildman, Chris Wilds. And guys, before we get started, let me just remind you that we are the official podcast of Scarlet and Game and Fansided. Slide on over to scarletandgame.com where you can catch our audio podcast as well as several articles written about all things Buckeye sports. We are also the official Buckeye podcast of the College Huddle, home to over 80 podcasts covering the entire college football landscape. Guys, if you're new or haven't been around before, please make sure you go and hit that like. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, ring that bell so you are aware anytime new comment or new content drops. And hey, if you love what we do here, make sure you go on, become an actual official member. It's only $3.99 a month. You'll get a free t-shirt after 30 days, free shipping from our online store, free exclusive behind the paywall content. And of course, here in a few weeks, we will be rolling out our we'll be rolling out our preview magazine for the season. And you as a member get free digital access. Another great way to support the show is with your super chats tonight, guys. Send in super chats, which help us keep the platform running and allows for you to have a voice as Buckeye Nation. So, before we get too far into it, just want to say hello to everybody in the chat. Jason, Sean, Vader, Aaron, I saw you out there. Looks like Andre's in the chat tonight as well. Aaron, yes, absolutely. Let's make sure we're all keeping those Texas families in our thoughts and prayers as they are suffering through a terrible situation down there with the flooding. All right, Buckeye Nation. I've got about three items on my mind tonight. I just want to kind of throw out there as possible topics of discussion, but this is your show. We can talk about whatever you want, but first topic for me has got to be, we had two pretty big recruits land over this weekend. We had, of course, quarterback Luke Fahey, which is our only quarterback in the class of 2026, of course, out of California. And then we also had the flip from Florida of defensive lineman Jameer Perez, the Cleveland Glenville student athlete, has flipped from Florida and is now going to be a Buckeye. So we've got that on the plate for tonight. What do you think about those guys? Also, I would be remiss if I did not mention our old buddy Paul Feinbaum is back in the news. Out there bashing Ohio State again. What a surprise. His latest quote: "I don't like Ohio State. They'll lose to Texas, and they're going to struggle to even make the playoffs." And then later he goes on to bash our head coach Ryan Day. And this is in response to Jeremiah Smith coming out and saying, hey, you know what? I'm not going to lose to these guys again, in reference to the cheaters up north. Paul Feinbaum's comment on that was, I'm glad to see someone on the Ohio State lineup maybe do something more than mouthing words. Because Jeremiah Smith, he sounds serious. Feinbaum goes on to say, Ryan Day has promised that after every loss, he has promised not to lose again. Not true. And yet he continues to lose. But they are the defending national champions, so even clowns like me, Feinbaum referring to himself, who I agree is an absolute clown, even clowns like me on the 4th of July are not going to call for firing a coach because he loses one game. However, that is a game he has to deal with at some point. But the national championship game will pay a lot of bills and probably, yes, even cover another loss to Michigan. And then the final topic I've got in my mind for tonight, guys, the Michigan scandal. Where does it sit? Here we are 21 months later from them busting the Michigan on the Stallion scandal. The scandals continue. They predate Connor. They've extended beyond his tenure. Buckeye Nation, I just got to ask, what is going on with that? What do we think is going to happen? When is it going to roll out? Is it going to roll out prior to Big Ten Media Days? Will roll out Big Ten Media Days? Are we thinking maybe closer to the start of the season? They've given us 30 to 90 days as a time frame, guys. We are effectively right about 30 days in at this point. So just want to get your thoughts on that. All right, guys, the phone lines are open. Looks like we got 2 in queue already. We're going to try to keep the calls to approximately 10 minutes if we have callers on the line. That phone number is 567-483-19. We are going to go to our first caller now, which is a number I don't recognize. Wait a minute, I recognize the number.
How you doing?
Tyler, how's it going, buddy?
Great, it's great.
So what's on your mind tonight?
I gotta talk to you about Paul Feinbaum.
Oh, my favorite topic, that little garden gnome. What's on your mind about our buddy Paul Feinbaum?
So, here's my biggest pet peeve with him, right? First of all, Paul Feinbaum, you graduated Tennessee. So I know that you're still mad about what we did to you and your team in the playoffs. I know you're still mad about that. I know you're a big time SEC homer.
Oh, without a doubt.
Guess what? But you had the audacity, you had the blatant audacity to say that, the past 4 years, that it's all Ryan Day's fault.
Here's the thing about that, Tyler. Feinbaum was out there bashing Michigan this whole time over this scandal.
Yep.
And now all of a sudden it's all Ryan Day's fault because Ryan Day whooped his alma mater's ass in the playoffs last year. Ever since that, he's had something out for Ryan Day.
It baffles my mind, Chris. So, obviously, Paul, you have not gotten over what we did to your team. It's blatantly obvious. And the other thing that really stuck out to me too, Chris, is people tell the truth when they are angry, when they're drunk, or when they're kids. So, Paul Feinbaum said he hates Ohio State.
Well, no, Feinbaum, he's angry, drunk, and a child. I mean, the guy's about 2 foot tall.
Yep, and his ears are so big he can hear what you're thinking from 10 miles away.
I'll tell you. This guy, here's the thing. And Tyler, I do believe there's some credence to this. Ryan Day does need to deal with the game. Even if we repeat as champions, he has to at some point deal with the game. I don't think any of us dispute that. But to me, this is just
correct.
This is just Paul Feinbaum out there trolling Ohio State fans, being the SEC homer you know he is. And I've got a question for you here, Tyler, because this is what I'm going to pose to a lot of people tonight. You have Paul Feinbaum. And anytime he gets a mic, he gets diarrhea of the mouth. Let me ask you, Tyler, if you had the mic, what would you say to Paul Feinbaum?
I'll be like, hey, Paul, remember, aren't you a graduate of Tennessee? I'll be like, aren't you a graduate of Tennessee, Paul? Okay, what happened to your team the last time you played us?
Yeah, they got the beat down. To me though, Tyler, I mean, I think you're being too nice to this guy. I think you're being too
No,
nice to this guy.
I'm actually, Chris, I didn't get a chance to finish.
Okay, go ahead.
So I'll be like, okay, Paul, you also were one of you were so for the idea of punishing Michigan. Now since we lost to Michigan, you flipped 180 degrees to, Ryan Day, you're one of the people that said, Ryan Day, you have to be fired. And that national championship, yeah, it bought him some time. Okay, so what changed, Paul, that we lost to them?
Yeah, no.
And we won a national championship.
Let me tell you, Tyler, I think this is Paul Feinbaum coming out there because right now the SEC feels like they're in trouble. He knows they're in trouble.
It's just like Michigan.
The SEC has not been to a national title game in 2 years. Now, here's the thing. It's difficult to win a national title. It's extremely difficult. It's difficult to get to get there to that game even. Now, I'm not knocking the SEC for not getting there. I'm not knocking the SEC for not getting there. It goes in cycles. The SEC, Feinbaum has been deemed this football guru because, well, he always chose Alabama to win. Well, when Nick Saban was there, it was an easy choice. When the SEC had the brown bag special going, it was an easy choice. It's not an easy choice anymore.
Exactly, Chris. Because the rest of the SEC at the time too, who competed with Alabama? Sometimes Auburn and beats them. But LSU sometimes.
Yeah, he's not out there trying to
with them.
He's not out there trying to invalidate Nick Saban's championships or say that he should have been on the hot seat for losing to Auburn. He wins the national title, it cures all ills. Guess what? That works for everybody. Except for Michigan because they cheated to get their title, but everybody else.
Chris, but since it's Ryan Day and we lost to Michigan, and the whole world's ending.
I don't know, man. I don't know. This guy is a total. I'm trying to keep it family friendly, but I don't know. Is ass clown a family friendly term? Because I kind of feel like that's what this guy is. He's honestly, a moron.
No, Chris. I'm sick and tired of Paul Feinbaum. He's just as annoying as Michigan fans.
Well, let's clarify. Nobody's as annoying as Michigan fans. Nobody.
I'm just saying he's getting just as annoying as them.
He's doing his best to get up there.
I can't stand the fact with his bald head, his glasses, I'm a guy that wears glasses too, but Paul Feinbaum, I can't stand you, dummy. Everything you say, you're just spewing SEC. And also, let me go. I have another rant about that, Chris.
Is it about the SEC in general and their dang on SEC chant?
No. He's picking Ohio State just not even make the playoffs, and we're going to get embarrassed by Texas.
And I don't know what makes him think that. I really don't. Texas lost a lot, man. It wasn't just Ohio State lost a lot. Texas lost a lot. You've got a quarterback that he's trying to anoint as the next big thing, who until he gets out there and proves it on the field against decent talent, and I'm not talking about those couple games he filled in for Quinn Ewers against the scrub squad last year, but until he gets out there and proves against real talent, He is nothing more than a kid with talent who is riding his uncle's coattails. That's it.
Chris, the last time we saw Arch Manning, we saw one play and he got knocked out by Lathan Ransom.
I kind of feel like Sonny needs to like drill him like that this year and then stand over top of him and be like, you ever watch that movie Friday with Ice Cube and Chris Tucker? He needs to stand over and be like, you just got knocked the F out. Because I'll tell you, and that's not right. I don't wish any ill will to Arch Manning. Don't get me wrong. I don't wish the kid any harm.
Ill will on him either.
I hope he goes on to have a tremendous pro career. But guys, you cannot anoint a guy who has played 3 games against a scrub squad as a Heisman Trophy winner. You can't do it.
And the other thing too, Chris, well, I was just saying too, what has Paul Finebaum, what has Arch Manning shown against us that's giving you confidence that Arch Manning just go beat us? I haven't seen nothing. The only time I've seen Arch Manning was he got knocked out. Play 1. He was in.
Yeah. I mean, I don't get it, guys. I don't get where Paul Finebaum gets these takes. I'm starting to think he's becoming like, not mentioning any names, he's becoming like some podcasters, some even in our own community, who are nothing more than clickbait junkies. I think he says these things strictly for clickbait.
Oh, you know he does it for attention, Chris, because he knows that Ohio State is watching. And once we beat Texas, he's going to be like, he's going to make up another excuse saying that, Texas wasn't ready. We weren't expecting Julian Sain to be actually good. But when he was at Alabama, you were praising him to be the next.
Oh, he was God's gift when he was an Alabama recruit.
Yeah.
He was the next Bryce.
The uniform he's wearing.
Yeah. I don't get it. I don't get it with this guy. I really don't. And you called it, Tyler. He's become almost as annoying as Michigan fans. He really has. But anything else on your mind before we go tonight, Tyler?
Yeah, I just got one more thing on to add on to that, Chris.
Good.
So, you know how Paul Finebaum has a call-in show, Chris?
Yes.
And you know the first time I seen Paul Finebaum was when we played Alabama in the Sugar Bowl. And Paul Finebaum was talking like praising Bama, but making us look like garbage. Like at the end of the night, Paul Finebaum looked like he looked defeated. Paul Finebaum, you better be. I hope you have this confidence in 54 days from now.
Yeah,
something
absolutely.
like that.
All right, give me 1 second, Tyler. 719, you are in queue next. We'll be getting to you here momentarily. Sean, I see you in queue, as well as Dave in Tampa. We see you in queue as well. Guys, hang on with us. We will be moving on here shortly. All right, Tyler. So,
But yeah,
good.
All I said, Chris, was I hope Paul Finebaum, you had that same confidence going into week 1, because if we beat Texas, I don't want to hear any excuses from you, Paul. I don't. I want you to be man enough to say, hey, I was wrong. But you know what? You're not going to do it, Paul. I know it.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say, Chris.
All right, Tyler, you have a great night. OH.
I.O.
Go Bucks. All right, next caller on the line. I do not have his number on my list, so we'll see who it is. Maybe. There we go. Caller, you on the line?
Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah.
Who do we have
Oh,
on?
shit.
What's that?
Who?
Who do we have on the line with us?
Oh, you so fucking lonely? You just call 100 times a day? Let's fuck with Earl?
Okay. We will. I don't know who that was, but they have been disinvited. My friend, we don't use that kind of language on this podcast. You have just earned yourself our first ever banned caller rating. Nice job, buddy. All right, next up, looks like we got our friend Sean. Sean, what's happening?
Wildman!
What's happening?
Hey, the pod father wanted me to let you know that him and the pod mother are living the high life, enjoying some lobster in Maine today. So he sent me pictures of him and the pod mother eating some lobster rolls, and he wanted me to let you know that when I called in tonight. So
Nice.
but it's funny that you talk about Paul Feinbaum, you know, the douche with Dumbo ears. TG and I just dropped a pre-recorded tonight about that, so good timing.
Yeah, and I was going to ask Sean. I mentioned pre-recordings without mentioning anything to anybody who's listening. Did you get the other one pre-recorded tonight?
We had to change things up because
Gotcha.
what we were originally going to do didn't happen, so we just cut a pre-recorded show, and we wanted to talk about Paul Feinbaum. Then we were also laughing about the meltdown that the Michigan fans were having on
the receiver
X yesterday. Oh, it was so great. That receiver they claimed was going to team up with Bryce Underwood and destroy everybody. He decided to pick Syracuse over Michigan.
You know, I'm glad you brought up the scum because, you know, as we know, we talked about it. 21 months now we've been waiting for something to happen here. I think we're in the home stretch. 30 days down into the 30 to 90 day window. So I got to ask, is it going to be everything we think it should be, or do you think they're going to go easy?
I think it's going to be worse. I think I think 3 years of vacated wins, loss of Natty, 2-year bull ban, 2-year show cause for Sharon Moore, lifetime ban for Connor Stallions, a lifetime ban for Jim Harbaugh.
Ooh, that's a lot.
I also think they're going to get. I think they're going to get a fine, and I also think they're going to lose some scholarships too over it.
So let's talk about this real quick. 11 violations that are wrapped up in this one. 6 of those level 1 infractions. What in your mind does it take? How many major infractions do you need to prove lack of institutional control?
I think they already proved it. I think it's already been proved with everything that's come out. I mean, my gosh, you got the largest cheating scandal, on-field cheating scandal in the history of college football. You got the biggest data breach, biggest hack in, history.
Yeah.
All in the same program, under the same coach. I mean, they're on repeat offender. How many of them are on repeat offender status?
Well, we know Sharon Moore's a repeat offender.
You were destroying evidence.
Yep.
You didn't comply. You even interfered within the investigation itself.
And you look at this, Sean. Look at what's come down against Oklahoma State, Florida Gulf Coast, Cal,
Arizona State,
Arizona State here in recent mind, Kentucky, in recent
Tennessee.
memory. Yes, you look at all that in recent memory, and how do they come away thinking that they're going to get a slap on the wrist?
Well, I see them go, well, look at what they did in Tennessee. Tennessee didn't get a bowl ban, but Tennessee also complied. Tennessee did the whole investigation, wrapped it up in a nice little bow, and dropped it off at their doorstep, turned themselves in, and didn't lie to them. They totally complied with them.
Yeah.
These guys gave the double bird. They would not comply at all. They actually interfered with the investigation. They got caught destroying evidence. I mean, they just think, we're going to get Sharon Moore's going to get a 3-game suspension and do some scholarships, and fine. That's what they think is going to happen. If that's all that was going to happen,
it would have
Michigan would have settled this thing a long time ago. They would have.
Yeah.
They would have ran to freaking Indianapolis to go sign that deal.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, it's just.
So
I just can't tell, Chris. Are these fans that ignorant, or are they just that stupid?
TG and I talked about did a video where we talked about the delusional fan base, and delusion is where arrogance meets ignorance, and that's what we have here.
Oh my gosh!
Arrogance plus ignorance equals the blue delusion. So you're with me. You think this is an obvious case of lack of institutional control?
It's either lack of institutional control or failure to monitor. So basically, it's
I think it
one
goes
or the other,
beyond
but
failure
they're
to monitor
basically the same thing.
I mean, I could be wrong, but
mean,
to me, I feel this goes beyond failure to monitor at this point.
But I mean, it's basically the same thing.
It is.
I mean, it's just one. I think maybe lack of institutional control is a little worse than failure to monitor. But
it is.
Yeah. I don't know what it all entails, but it's going to be one or the other.
Yeah. So, does the NCAA lose credibility if they go at all soft on these guys?
If they go all soft on them, they're done. There'll be nothing left.
You think that starts the split?
I think that just because if they go soft on these guys, that's going to send a message to everybody else that they can basically do whatever the heck they want. That rules don't apply to people. I mean, the Michigan people are saying, "Oh, only people that want this is the Michigan State fans and Ohio State fans." Wrong. There's a lot of schools that want something done about this because they want someone to control this. A lot of people are pissed off at Michigan. The whole Big Ten hates them. They don't think it's Ohio State and Michigan State. Well, Ohio State was the one that got hurt the most by it. Michigan State is the one that, narked you guys, the ones that caught you, cheating in their stadium. I mean, busted you for that. So, I mean, when Tony Petitti was on that conference call with the athletic directors and the coaches in the Big Ten, them guys were furious. Yeah. They were demanding that he did something about it, and he suspended Harbaugh. They wanted more done about it. So I don't, they're just that arrogant and stupid. It cracks me up. I've never seen a fan base so arrogant, so ignorant, and so stupid all in one.
Yeah. So, hey, we got a super chat.
Arrogance is going to be the downfall.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's okay. We got a $7.99 super chat from our buddy across the sea here, Matty Butcher, and he had a question, and that is about Ohio State. And that was going to bring me to a question I was going to have for you next. And that question was, would Ohio State have already been punished? But he asked, how long did it take the NCAA to act on Tattoogate? Tattoogate went down very quickly.
Yes.
But that is because Ohio State hired investigators. They investigated the situation. They turned over the results. They not only complied, but they fully cooperated with everything.
Yep.
So the process went very quickly. Michigan has lied and fought and obstructed this investigation from the get-go, on every front. So that's why there's such a difference in time. I also think that the NCAA is taking a little longer here to make sure they get it right. They don't want any grounds for this to be fought. They don't want any grounds where this can be contested.
Let's not forget they also gave Michigan an extension.
Yes, they gave them extensions.
Michigan asked for extensions. And the reason they did that, like you're saying, Chris, is so Michigan couldn't go back and say, well, they showed favoritism. They wouldn't give us an extension. I mean, what you're saying is true. The NCAA is doing everything by the book because the only way they can take the NCAA to court over this is if they violate a bylaw.
Correct.
If they don't violate a bylaw, Michigan has no leg to stand on when it comes to the court. So they're screwed. Because when you agree to be a member of the NCAA, you agree that the NCAA is the judge, jury, and executioner, and they're the ones that enforce all the rules and all the laws. So you got to play by their rules.
Right. So
I mean, if you don't, you can be kicked down, go playing Division II then, or be an FCS school then. If you don't,
Hey, the NAIA has a home for you.
Yeah.
But you better watch out because they got teams like, remember Appalachian State that snuck up? They were an FCS, but snuck up and got them in their house.
Yeah, they want to talk about how we lost at home as a 20-point favorite. Well, how about when you lost to Appalachian State and Toledo at home as larger favorites, and you're the only Division I school, the only Power 4 school to lose to an FCS school and a MAC team at home. Only one to do it. So you made history there in Michigan.
No
every
disrespect.
Time someone says 13-10.
Yeah.
Hey, every time someone says 13-10 to you, Chris, to say, yeah, that was. Are you a Toledo fan? Because that was the score of the Toledo-Michigan game, 13-10.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Aaron, no disrespect to NAIA. You're right. They have some good athletes down there. They really do. There are some good teams in that play ball at that level. They just don't have the numbers or the number of people or the money to be at the Division I level. The schools don't. But they have some great athletes down there. Anything else on your mind tonight, Sean?
No, but I just want to call and say thanks for having me on, and I appreciate everybody, and great show tonight. And after the show, if you kept that number, that guy that called in, I think I might know who it might be. So let me know what that number is after the show.
Yeah,
I might be able to find out who that was,
Of our 719 caller?
It sounded like it sounded like one of those. Sounded like a guy from Deliverance, I was waiting for him to tell you had a pretty mouth. He had an accent on him, so might be one of those guys from the UP, All the UP is up in Michigan is Deliverance in the snow. So
wow,
it is what it is.
That's harsh, man.
Maybe he was drinking too much of that Kool-Aid with Flint, that Flint water. He might have been mixing his Kool-Aid with that water from Flint, and just made him, mentally disabled. So,
yeah.
But you have a great night, Chris.
Hey, you too, Sean. And I'm going to call you afterwards because I got everything solidified for Wednesday as well. So.
All right, cool. Sounds like a plan, man.
All right, man. You take it easy.
All right.
Oh, wait.
You too. I know. Go Bucks.
Go Bucks. That was our buddy Sean from the Buckeye Lounge. All right, guys. We now have one caller left in queue is all. It's been a slow call night tonight, guys. So if you want to get in and talk, give us a call. The number's 567-483-1999. But right now, we got Dave on the line. How's it going, Dave?
How's it going, brother?
Oh, man, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great. Although it's about 110 degrees in the shade here.
Because when, like I said before, when Texas comes to town, they're running into the Buckeye buzzsaw. And, maybe some of those players will get stuck of Bob's grubby little looking head. There's a guy called Sonny Styles.
Oh, yeah.
That is still there. That cracked somebody's helmet there.
Nico's, the Tennessee quarterback. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I know what it was. Just because Ransom's gone doesn't mean that the hitters, any of the hitters are gone, dude. They're still there.
Oh no.
And there's more coming.
Absolutely.
I fully believe that this defense will be better than last year's.
Now,
and I fully believe this offense will be better than last year's.
I'm going to say I think it happens. I think they both do end up better. I think it's going to be a slow start potentially at times. They're going to have some growing pains. But you know what? You look at this team, and then you look at the Texas team, and you match them up. And to me, I don't know where Feinbaum's getting his idea that these guys are so much better. I mean, if you look at the receivers, let's start with the receiver room. They got the freshman, Khalil Lockett, who I think is a talent, but he's still a freshman. You got Ryan Wingo, who's a pretty talented young man. DeAndre Moore. They got some pretty good receivers. We have the best player in college football at one receiver. We have Carnell Tate. We have Brandon Ennis, who I think is going to be a beast, absolute beast in the slot. Then you go and we got Quincy Porter, Mylan Graham, and Bryson Rogers as our two deep. Their two deep is filled with freshmen and redshirt freshmen that, I don't know that they're that great. I think they're very good. I think they're talented, but I don't know that they're anywhere near what Ohio State's got. And let's call it what it is. Ohio State has the best wide receiver coach in the country. That can't even be disputed or argued. Look at the draft numbers for the last 6 years. Can't be argued. Then you look at the line. Now, they've got a pretty decent group coming back on their offensive line. But you know what? We got a really good core coming back on our offensive line with Hensman, Shabola, Saraveld. We got the Oniawa, the transfer. We got Luke Montgomery. We got Philip Daniels, another great transfer. We got the freshman Jake Cook in there. We got Gabe Van Sickle, who's been around for a while, and he's a pretty talented kid. This is an offensive line that Ohio State's got that I think can hold its own with anybody in the country. Tight ends, I'll tell you what, I'll give us the edge in that one all day long. We are, I'm going to say it. I think our third and fourth best tight end could possibly start at Texas. And then you've got Kazmarek and Max Clare. I mean, that's running back wise. I don't know if there's an advantage to either side running back wise. They've got Wisner coming back as a junior, who's going to be their lead running back this year. And yeah, he had 1,000 yards last season. He's a solid kid. But you know what? I think that there's just as many good players in the running back room at Ohio State. I think Peoples could easily be a 1,000-yard rusher. I think Donaldson, who's now trimmed down, could easily be a 1,000-yard rusher. Bo Jackson, the fabulous freshman phenom. You got Turbo Rogers. You got Sam Williams-Dixon. So to me, for these guys to offensively, I think that we match up very well. Defensively, I really like what we've got. We've got guys who have been here, who have been in the program, who have been developing here, and guys like Kenyatta Jackson, Caden McDonald, Edric Houston. I'm telling you right now, I would not be surprised if both those guys are not all Big Ten. Edric may be possibly somebody who's on the All-American team at some level. I think he's got that kind of potential. Bo Atkinson, our big transfer get. So excited to see him play. And then you mentioned Sonny earlier, man. Sonny Styles, Arvell Reese, who's an absolute animal. We got Peyton Pierce, Riley Pettyjohn, TJ Alford in that linebacker room. We got the transfer Ty Howard. We got Garrett Stove. This is a stacked linebacker room. And I look at Texas, and again, very good, very good. But I don't know that I see anywhere where they've got an advantage over us. And then our defensive backs, David, I think are going to be great. I think we're BIA again this year, man. I really do. I think that Jermaine Matthews is going to step up huge. I think Iggy's going to be solid. Devin Sanchez, the freak. That guy is ready to start right now. That's the thing. Kid's a freshman. He's ready to get out there and start right now. We're deep and talented at safety. I mean, where do they have where's Feinbaum coming up with this? Where do they have the advantage? That's what I need to know.
They don't have an advantage in either way at any position, nor on their coaching staff or their culture. And I'm not being against Texas.
No,
really, because they've got great players.
They do.
They absolutely have great players, and they have absolutely reloaded. I know they have. We see the recruits they get. You see we know what kind of coach Sark is. He's a really, really good coach. He's a great coach. Is he elite? Yeah.
I'm going to say this.
I would say he's elite, but it was like Ryan Day. You could probably say he's elite, but now you can definitely say he's elite. And that's where they're at there with in Texas. He's got to take that next league. He needs to be the head coach needs to be elite so the program could be elite.
And I'll tell you, David, you know what gets him to elite is what we saw out of Ryan Day last year in that playoff run. Ryan Day was a guy who I would have classified the same as Sark last year. I think he was very good. Maybe he was a great coach, but he wasn't elite yet. Winning that national championship the way that this team did is what's made him elite. He went from great to elite last year. And I think that's something that's being underestimated. Sean, you're right. Sark is a top 10 coach. I 100% agree. But here's the thing.
Yeah,
he's got to win that natty. He's got to make a good run. It doesn't have to be the run Ohio State made. We may never see that again. But it has to be a good run. If he does that, then yeah, I'm willing to put him up in the talk about elite coaches. Because you have to think, with the retirement of Urban and Nick Saban over the last few years, I don't know that I would say there's elite left. Or not elite. There's no Urban and Saban were on another level. Specifically Saban. Anybody who denies the fact that he's the greatest coach of all time is just fooling themselves. I mean, I hate to admit it, but the guy was the greatest college coach of all time. And he's got the hardware to prove it. But I don't think Urban was that far behind him. I think he was probably pretty close to neck and neck with him. There's been a big drop-off since then. A lot of people will tell you Kirby Smart's that guy now. I don't think so. He's got a culture problem, man. He's got a serious culture problem. Dabo.
Well, I agree with that. He does. I agree with that.
Yeah,
He does have a culture problem. Plus, they have an offense problem.
they do.
It gets worse every year.
They do. You're right.
And until you can get a quarterback in there that can be developed and receivers that you can throw the doggone ball to, you know, I mean, something must be going on there because all their offensive linemen got drafted last year, except for like one dude who's like a returning starter. They replaced like 4 people on their offensive line. So what's wrong with the rest of the offense?
They're trying to make Carson Beck the scapegoat in this. Let me tell you what, Carson Beck was not the problem last year. Just wasn't. Play calling is not the greatest down there. They've got some good talented kids. They do. But I think play calling and culture are the 2 biggest issues down there at Georgia right now. I think Kirby's a good coach. I think he's an elite coach right now. I mean, look at it. He's got a couple natties. There's definitely an argument. Dabo still has to be considered an elite coach, especially given the fact that Clemson's back in the national talk again. Dabo struggled when they went to the NIL system.
No one better be sleeping on Clemson, because that's just what Clemson needs, is for everybody to be sleeping on them, and they just run through the ACC like it's Montezuma's revenge.
Well, they will, because the ACC is like the 13th grade.
They're sitting there with the first round bye.
Yeah, the ACC is arguably the softest conference in all of college football. The Big 12, I think, overall is a better conference. I think the top tier of the ACC is better than the top tier of the Big 12. But at the same time, I think that the Big 12 as a whole is a better conference. I think the ACC is the weakest of the Power 4 conferences by far. And you're right. Clemson's got a very good chance of just running through that like a knife through hot butter. Or hot knife through butter, rather. Yeah. But you know, Dabo, he is a good coach. We can't deny that. Do I think he should have had those?
He's got a type of quarterback right now that he likes, and that kid flashed a few times last year.
But he also looked bad a couple times last year.
He'll be better this year.
He will be, but he had some times where he looked bad last year too. So I've got to see it consistently. That's my thing. If he goes out and plays consistently like he did in the good games last year, he'll make a believer out of me. But when I see him in their first, and I don't have their schedule pulled up right now to see exactly who is on their schedule and when their first big game is. But yeah, I mean, for me, this is something where it's a wait and see. But I think they have. I think you're right. I think they are probably the favorites in the ACC. Some people will tell you Miami. I'm here to tell you that's not the fact. I really don't think so. So.
No, I agree. I think Clemson's the best team in the ACC, and it's probably not even close.
Yeah.
So I think Florida State fans are in for another long season of disappointment. And
yeah.
But yeah, Feinbaum. I told you guys before, man. That's what a clown looks like without the makeup.
You got that right.
That's what a clown looks like without the makeup. That's all he is. He's a clown. All right. I mean, he's either a traitor or his alma mater. He went to the University of Tennessee. And as Alabama home as it gets.
He's just looking for any SEC. He is just out there peddling the SEC right now. He is an SEC troll. He is a big-eared, bald-headed troll. That's all he is. He don't know his bottom from a hole in the ground. So, all right, David, you got anything else on your mind tonight before we move on? I got a full call bank right now.
No, man, get to it, brother.
All right, take it easy, David.
Have a good week.
You too. OH.
Bye. I-O.
Go Bucks.
Go Bucks.
All right. Looks like we have 518-725, guys. Looks like you guys just dropped off. I do have one caller ahead of you guys now. So I've got the 260, which we know who that is. Ray will be right with you here. But guys, if you called in and dropped after a few seconds, we are trying to limit calls to 10 minutes. So if you get on, hold time should not be more than 10 minutes. Well, let's see. Is the board going to work for us tonight? There we go. Ray, how's it going?
Pretty good. How you doing?
Oh, man, I am just peachy right now. We've had a bunch of new callers dropping in, but they keep hanging up on me. I don't know what's up with that, man.
I don't know. Hey,
impatient.
Where's Eric at? On vacation?
Eric is vacationing all this week, so I'm here tonight. I'll be back on Thursday night. So you're going to do the show? Yeah, I'm doing tonight's. I'm doing Thursday nights. Eric will be back on Sunday as we tag out, or as I tag out and he tags in. Sunday night, it looks like we're going to flop, and I'm going on vacation next week, and he'll be here all week.
You know, I noticed Nevada's on there with Moses now.
Yeah, B. Moses. Yeah, and
he's
you know what?
He's a good Christian guy. Moses, I like him a lot.
Yeah, B. Moses
Nevada,
is a great guy.
I was hoping Nevada would hook up with somebody. You know, now that it looks like he's out of the picture, the other guy.
Yeah, B. Moses is an absolute tremendous guy. We've had him on here before. I follow a lot of his stuff. He is an extremely talented guy, and let me tell you, they could do a whole lot worse than to have B. Moses over there.
Right. And Nevada's got a good inside thing, so I'm glad he got back on there. I'd like to hear what he has to say. Hey, any word on he got bailed out? Any word in the last week or two when his court hearing's going to be?
I don't have any information on that now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'll be honest. I follow it, Ray, but I follow it at a distance.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. I've been trying to find anything on the YouTube since they had it out 2-3 weeks ago. I just pray for his family and the ones, you know, the boy that got killed. So, you know, it's a terrible tragedy, but
it is. It's a tragedy
life
for
goes
everybody
on,
involved.
right?
It is. It's a tragedy for everybody involved.
Yeah.
And sadly, you know, it's something that it's going to take a while for people to heal, you know?
Right,
so,
right. Hey, any word on, it's been 30 days, any word on when we might get a ruling?
Okay, so, and we were talking about this a little bit ago. The NCAA has said 30 to 90 days. So we are 30 days in. We are looking at no more than 60 days. Now, from what I have heard, they want to have it issued out before the start of the season, which would indicate they want it prior to August 30th. That's Michigan's first game. I would love to see them drop it on them at Big Ten Media Days. I don't think that happens, but man, that would be the gift that keeps on giving right there. Yeah. Drop it on them in Big Ten Media Days, and then let them have to try to scramble around to deal with that.
Why did they say 30 to 45 days? Now they're saying 30 to 90 days.
This is the thing. A lot of people said 30 to 45. Initially, it was 30 to 90 was what was put out by the NCAA. A lot of other people have said 30 to 45 days. I've heard 30 to 45 days. I've even seen conflicting reports that the NCAA had said 30 to 45 days. That I don't know. Yeah. I'm going to err on the side of caution, go with the original number I saw, which was 30 to 90 days. But, you know, and Sean and I were on here talking about this earlier. I feel like they've got to come at them with a lack of institutional control, given the number of violations that they faced, the fact that they're repeat offenders, the fact that they have 6 level 1 infractions that they're facing. I think this is, and I think if you're putting together a case for lack of institutional control,
yeah,
it's gonna take a while because you want to get this right, because that brings the some of the most severe punishments when you're talking about a lack of institutional control. That's what led to USC losing their title, I believe, ultimately. I mean, yes, it had to do with the Reggie Bush incident and everything as well, but
the NCAA is going to look really bad if they don't come down hard on them.
I agree. I agree. I think their credibility is lost if they don't come down hard. But I think that they've been. I think they're positioning themselves to do just that. You look at what's happened with Florida Gulf Coast, with the Oklahoma State tennis team, with Cal, and the infractions they had, which were very minor, but they gave them a pretty significant penalty for. Um, the NCAA is positioning themselves to be able to come down hard, and they're doing that by setting a tone with all these other punishments they're handing out. But they've also set an expectation now by doing that. When you hand out this many penalties of this nature for lesser offenses like you have, you now have to follow through. You cannot go easy on a program just because they are they would like to think they're a blue blood, but let's call it what they are. They are a team with a great history. They are not a blue blood. Haven't been in 70 years. So for me, I think all they're waiting on is to make sure that they get this right, to make this where they have craft the penalty so it complies 100% with their guidelines, so that Michigan cannot turn around and take this thing to court. Because the last thing the NCAA wants is for this to drag out anymore. Michigan is holding steadfast. But for all those people who said, this gets me, Ray, because you have people say, well, it didn't matter that much. Well, if it didn't matter that much, why did you do it? They're only going to get a slap on the wrist. If they're only going to get a slap on the wrist, they would have complied and taken the slap on the wrist. Oh. And yes, Johnny, if you'd like to call in here and discuss why Michigan is not a blue blood, you are more than welcome. I am more than welcome you to do so, sir. Great respect for you. Enjoy your work. But, the fact is Michigan is not a blue blood. Just because they claim 8 national titles before the advent of the face mask does not mean they're a blue blood.
Yeah.
So
I agree with you. Hey,
what's up, Ray?
Let's be honest.
Yes.
Michigan has not complied all the way up to right now. I mean, the only thing you can say is they're going to give more 2-game suspension, and they want to pick it, away from Oklahoma game.
Yeah, they tried to do that, and that was just the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen or heard.
Yeah, it was a joke.
They want to give out their own punishment. They want to make the punishment as mild as possible. You know what? It's just not going to be like that. The fact is, they can deny that a hammer's coming all they want. They can deny that all they want. They can live in their own blue delusional little world all they want.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. It's a blue delusion. That's the point where arrogance meets ignorance is the blue delusion. And that's where they're at. They truly believe they've done nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with hacking into the accounts of young female student athletes. There's nothing wrong with trying to meet up with underage girls at the local Walmart. There's nothing wrong with cheating the game on the field. There's nothing wrong with violating recruiting. There's nothing wrong with anything that they do in their minds. And that's just crap. Plain and simple, crap. They are the most delusional fan base in all of football.
You're right there. Hey, Ward Manuel and Moore, does Michigan have to can them, or can the NCAA can them?
I believe that would probably have to come through. Now, the NCAA could suspend them. They can present a show cause to Moore. I don't know what other sanctions would be available. I don't believe they could terminate them. Their contract is with the University of Michigan, so I do not believe they could terminate them.
So Ward Manuel just got a new extension on his contract. It'll be up to Michigan to can him.
Yes. Yeah, now, here's the thing.
Hey, let's talk a little bit about our team.
Yeah, let's do that.
How tall did you say that quarterback was going to be our new quarterback?
Which one? Julian, who's going to be there this year, or the recruit we just got?
Right, Julian. How tall is he?
Julian Sand is I think he's 6'3", if I'm not mistaken. Let's see. They got him listed as 6'2". That's an old sizing. I think he's around 6'2", 210, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah,
Well,
6'2".
How old is he? He's pretty young. He could probably still grow another inch or two.
He is. He's a sophomore this season. He is a kid that comes in with tremendous talent.
We could have him 2 more years.
Well, yeah, he'll be there this year, and he should have to be there, or he'll still have to be there next year as well, because he can't come out until his high school graduating class would have had their third, 3 years removed from his high school graduation. So yes, he has to wait until next year to come out.
Yeah. How about our defensive line? I'm a little worried about that because we lost a lot on the defensive line. Are we going to be able to pick up and be able to do enough? The line of scrimmage is the offense and defensive line. That's what I'll
tell you. I really feel good about. I feel good about our defensive line. Kenyatta Jackson played well when he was in last year, as did Caden McDonald, Edric Houston. I think that these guys are very, very solid. I think Kenyatta and Caden both have breakout potential. Edric, I said it earlier and I'll say it again. I think he has potential to end up maybe not a first-team All-American, but I could see him being on the All-American team possibly this year. I think he's that kind of great player in the middle. He's definitely, I think, All Big Ten this year. Bo Atkinson.
Why are all these magazines picking Michigan to be third in the Big Ten?
You know what? I wish I could tell you. Because they have some talented kids. Now, don't get me wrong. They have some talented kids. Yeah. But you're starting a first-year true freshman starter. That's not going to go well out of the gate. Okay? It's just not. You're going to have some struggles. He's going to make freshman mistakes. That's not to say he's not a good player or a talented player. I don't think he's as good as what they think he is. Everybody wants to make him out to be the greatest thing on earth here, and he's just not. He did not play good competition in high school. Michigan high school football sucks.
Chris, pull up their schedule real quick and find out the losses that you think they're going to lose.
I can actually do that because I've got our Big Ten predictions sheet right here.
Oh, okay. You got that coming up.
And 740 and 331, I see you in the queue. We will be with you here shortly.
Okay. You're going to have a program on all that.
Yeah, but Michigan, I look at them. They play New Mexico at home. I think that's probably a win.
Yeah.
They play at Oklahoma. I'm telling you, that Oklahoma front four is not a joke. I think they wreak havoc on Underwood and force him to make some mistakes. Right. I look for Oklahoma to be a loss.
Right.
I look for Oklahoma to be a loss. Central Michigan, I don't know. Does that depend on which side Connor's standing on for that game? Maybe. I don't know. But I think they beat Central Michigan. I think they'll go to Nebraska and lose. I think they lose to an improved Dylan Raiola and an improved Nebraska team this year. I've got them at 2-2 when they go into their first bye week.
Okay.
I think they beat Wisconsin. Wisconsin is in a bad situation with their schedule this year. Their schedule is so rough. I feel so bad for Luke Fickell. I struggle to find 5 wins on that schedule.
Wow.
At USC, this is one that I was torn. I was coin flipping this one.
Yeah.
I went with USC only because it's at USC, and I think they will be an improved team. However, they're going to have to play defense.
Right.
Washington, I think they beat Washington at Michigan.
Yeah.
Here's one that's going to surprise a lot of people. This may make Johnny, I don't know, pee his pants. But I think that Sparty shocks them at East Lansing this year. I think Jonathan Smith's going to have an improved season.
I'd love that.
Yeah, I would too. I think Jonathan Smith's going to have an improved season. I think Michigan State's better than what people are going to give him credit for. And for me, I like that upset there. I could be wrong on that one. That one could go to Michigan, but I'm feeling like the upset is due.
Yeah.
Purdue, they're going to beat Purdue because, in all respect to our buddy Dylan Kuhn, but Dylan, Purdue is just god awful, buddy.
Yeah.
Just wait for basketball season, my friend. They come up on a second bye. By this point, I've got them at 4-4, I believe, or 5-4. I've got them at 5-4 entering the second bye. They're going to Northwestern. Yeah. They're gonna beat Northwestern. They're going to Maryland. Yeah. Maryland is not a good team.
Oh boy.
So I feel like they're gonna beat Maryland.
Yeah.
And then Ohio State is going to exact their revenge in the outhouse this year.
Yeah. And make them 7-5 again.
Yeah. They're going to go 7-5 with most of their wins coming in the Den of Sin. That's right, the outhouse, the Den of Sin. That's where they're.
But just think of this, Chris. They give all them penalties like we think they're going to give them. There'll be a lot of them players running out of there. Maybe that will make them under 500.
You are 100% right.
Make them under 500.
That is something. Yeah.
That would make us all happy.
Yeah. That's something to definitely consider, Ray, because to me, I just, people are saying they're so improved. They're so improved. I personally don't see it. They're going off of one game against a bad Alabama team. A bad Alabama team at that. Don't look for Alabama.
My goodness.
Alabama's not going to play that bad again this year. Guys.
That quarterback was terrible against
Milroe was awful. Milroe was not a good quarterback.
I don't know how he got so high in the NFL draft.
Yeah, I don't either. I really don't. He's not a good quarterback.
He went way ahead of Will Howard.
He did. And you know what? That's because NFL scouts.
Will Howard or him?
Oh, Will Howard.
Who'd you rather have, Will Howard or him?
Will Howard all day long.
Me too. He can pass. That kid can't pass.
That kid
he had a chance against Michigan two times in the Rose Bowl, and the other one he didn't show me nothing.
Yeah, and Sean throws this out there. He says Michigan's going to win 9 games because their schedule's so weak. I don't think so, Sean. I think that they are severely overrated. They are so severely overrated. And Johnny, I'll agree. Milroe looked about as bad as Howard did. The difference is Howard was playing with a concussion.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I'm going to let you go, Chris. Have a good night. Tell Eric I said hi. I'm praying for his trip, and God bless you, and I'll see you Thursday. OH.
I-O. Go Bucks. That was the living legend, Ray. Next up, I'm pretty sure I know this phone number. Who do we have on the line with us now?
What's up?
How is vacation, big dog?
It's great, man. How are you?
Oh, man, I'm doing wonderful, other than the fact it's hotter than Hades here.
Well, it's not too hot here.
Oh, I'll tell you, it's an oven here, man. I think it's still about 80 degrees outside right now.
I tell you, we were on the beach. It was 81 degrees, and it was cold because the wind coming off the ocean was crazy. We're talking probably 25, 30 miles an hour, and it downright felt chilly on the beach today. But, yeah, man, we made it here safely. I just thought I would ring in real fast, tell everybody we left yesterday, and we made it to Utica, New York. That's where we made it to last night. Yep, Utica, New York. It took us about 8.5 hours to get there. And it was after 10 o'clock last night when we finally stopped. And then we got up early this morning, drove the rest of the way. And I kid you not, Chris, there's Buckeyes all over the place.
And there should be. There absolutely should be. Oh, man, I'll tell you, it's been a good weekend, Derek. It's been a good weekend to be a Buckeye. We got.
Well, fill me in, man. I feel like I don't know what's going on.
No, because we got Luca Fahey, of course. Got our quarterback for the class. We got the JJ Perez flip. So it's been a good week. Had a beautiful 4th of July weekend. It's awesome. It is great to be a Buckeye. We are the reigning, defending, undisputed national champions. And I say that, Eric, just because Johnny's in the chat. So wanted to throw that out there for Johnny.
Well, Johnny, let me tell you something, buddy. Even up here in the wild northeast of the United States, I've seen nothing but Ohio people here. I've seen one pure Michigan license plate the whole time I've been up here. One.
Now,
bunch of Buckeyes, though.
Let me go on credit saying that, and Sean may come at me for this. Sean may get on or Sean or Tyler, I can't remember who it was, that was really down in the UP. The UP is a beautiful place. It really is, but I consider that Canada, so. I don't give them credit for that.
A couple of years ago, back before COVID, Sarah and I, we went camping up in upstate Michigan, up by the Sleeping Bear Sand Dunes, and it was very nice.
It is. It's a beautiful state once you get north of that stink hole that is Ann Arbor.
Exactly. 100%. But yeah, dude, I thought I would just call in, let everybody know we're here. We're doing great. We're going whale watching tomorrow. I told my wife we don't see any. I'll just get in the bathtub and she can whale watch that way. Yeah, we're getting on a boat. We're going to the Atlantic Ocean and go see some whales tomorrow morning.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Hey, by the way, Eric, you're in upstate New York, or you traveled through upstate New York. So I just got to ask you, did you hear that Syracuse got a receiver this weekend?
No, who'd they get?
They got the kid that Michigan was guaranteeing they were going to land.
Oh, did they?
The 5-star Calvin something or other. Can't remember the name. Doesn't matter. He wasn't important enough to be on Ohio State's radar. So
I did see a Honda McCord billboard.
Did you now?
When I was driving by Syracuse. Yeah, it was an old billboard for last season of some kind, for season tickets or something like that. But good old Honda McCord had a billboard up here, but it was funny.
That's awesome. That's a poor Honda gets a bad rap.
He does, doesn't he? Especially from our show.
Hey, but he's no Bryson Shaw, and he can hang his head on that.
Right. Yeah, exactly. No, we're having a great time. So we're planning on spending 2 more days here, and then we're heading to Mount Washington, New Hampshire. It's the tallest mountain in the northeast and eastern seaboard, I guess you could say.
You going hiking up the mountain, Eric?
And yeah, Ooh. I've been getting in shape, Chris.
All right, man.
Yeah.
Better eat them Wheaties, my brother.
I'm going to go up to that top of that mountain and stand at the top of the peak. And
have Sarah get some video of that, because we're going to take and turn that into a Rocky montage.
You might need to. If I make it, you might need to. All right, buddy. I know you got another call.
I sure do.
I won't take up any more time, but I just wanted to let everybody know we're doing good. We appreciate everybody's good well wishes. Thank you, everybody, for the birthday. I saw the happy birthdays from everybody and the happy anniversaries and everything. Yep. Yeah. So Sarah and I are celebrating our 10th year anniversary. So that was one of the reasons why we went on this trip, and my birthday happens to land on the very next day. So it's all in one here. So we're having a good time. Appreciate all of you, and looking forward to getting back and knocking out that magazine, Chris, because you and we're going to be on ESPN radio, buddy.
Nice. Yeah. I'm excited about that, man. I'm excited about that. We're going big time, Eric.
Can't wait.
Going big time.
Big time. Emphasis on the big. All right, buddy. Have a good one, man.
Talk to you. I-O. Go Bucks. That was the Podfather Buckeye Boggs, of course, and I've got one call in queue right now. 331, I will be right with you. I just want to answer this question real quick. Kevin, I will actually give out passcode next week. We are in the process of changing over some product that we're going to be putting into the store. So I'm going to be issuing a new passcode. We are going to have a lot more of the podcast merchandise in. We will still have a few Ohio State items in the store as well. But a lot of our merchandise is going to switch over to more of a podcast themed, more of a podcast themed product line. So I will get that out to you guys. I'll give all you guys the new code next week for the store passcode. But right now, we have got it kind of, I don't want to say it's closed down because I could still ship stuff out, but there's not a whole lot on the webpage at the moment. So, all right, 331. 331, you are live on the air. Let's see, or you will be. 331, who we got here?
It's Burks, man. How are you?
What is up, Burks?
It seems Johnny is on the chat. Wow, that's the perfect timing for him to be on the chat.
Johnny has almost as much exception with my blue blood take as you do, Burks.
What do you say again?
I said he's almost as irritated with my blue blood take as you are, I think.
Oh, of course, man. It's crazy to not call us a blue blood. That's like ridiculous, man. It's like saying like United Kingdom is not even a strong country, or like it's like a poor country, you know.
Calling Michigan a blue blood would be like saying that their 2023 national title was legit. It's just not.
Okay, so I actually want to talk about Syracuse guy. That's kind of what I call
the kid that went to Syracuse, the wide receiver.
Yeah.
That's good. So, before we get started on this, Burks, I want to get, because that's going to lead me to a topic I want to get your take on as a Michigan fan, because I know how I feel about it. But go ahead and let's talk about what you want to talk about first, and then we'll get to my question for you.
No, I'm just pissed off of my fan. Like, let's see, I like to come on your show to just get pissed off or frustrated, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm a little pissed off at this Michigan. Yeah, I'm a little pissed off at the Michigan YouTube community. I really am, because there's this clown Michigan fan, right? He's one of the biggest clowns. Let's just say, I'm not going to say his name, but they said it on the chat just now. This guy is such full of his crap, man, being like, oh, he's a silent commit, all that. He was trying to say, oh, we're getting him. And we didn't get him. And guess what? I knew we weren't going to get him for like a week or two, because there was just so much like evidence he wasn't coming to Michigan. Like, you know, his relationship with Fran Brown, the NIL deal. First of all, NIL deal wasn't even like, I have not seen anywhere I've searched up that this $4.3 million for 3 years is legit. They just like to put this on Twitter. And then there's just so much stuff, you know, like basketball and football, and not only that, too, it's like when you're a five-star receiver, you know, I knew we were going to miss on him just because, you know, when you're a five-star receiver, dude, you know, Michigan's just not that school. Like, when was the last time Michigan got a five-star receiver? 2017, Donovan People-Jones, right? Yeah. It's just like what the receiving was last year. It's like, why would you come to Michigan as a five-star receiver? I know you have Bryce Underwood, but he hasn't proven himself yet. Until he proves himself, then we can actually land a five-star receiver. And because of that, what Kyle McCord did, and like, you know, that Syracuse, they had a really good Syracuse receiver last year, and he left the team because he wanted like $2 million a year or something. And then he went, right? He put up such big numbers and stuff. It's like, okay, now you see why this guy wanted to go to Syracuse as well. Plus, you know, starting in basketball, right? So with Syracuse, because in Michigan, you know, he would not play a snap at Michigan basketball. They're just much better. So, you know, there's also a lot of evidence. But the way this Michigan fan trashed him on Twitter and social media, I got really pissed off. Like I didn't really see what he said, but he's a sore loser, this guy, man. And it's just like, this really pisses me off being a Michigan fan, is like, you know, when people, if they don't commit to your school, you trash the recruit. or you trash, like this. Listen, he wanted to go to Syracuse. Good for Syracuse. And I'm actually happy Syracuse got him because let's be real here. There's a lot of culture stuff that it's not culture stuff. It is just the way he's just cocky. I feel I don't like really cocky guys. I'm not saying like I didn't want him or stuff, but people are just freaking out, crying and stuff. And there's just so much evidence. And you don't like trash a guy. And I just wanted to call that out about this guy because he's so smart. And every clown on Michigan YouTube likes this guy, and I don't know why they do when he's one of the most disrespectful trash Michigan. So yeah, I just wanted to say that because I'm really pissed off how people do this stuff.
It's really funny.
I just had to say it.
You said that because I actually found myself really on social media today, really giving it to an Ohio State fan, and it was because of an encounter. He made a comment on a Michigan post or a Michigan website or a social media site, and his comment was, "How many? What was it, something like? How many children will Bryce Young father out of wedlock before he leaves Michigan?" And I find that to be completely classless and distasteful. You can attack a program. You can attack a program. You can go after a program. You can go after coaches as far as being critical of them. You can be critical of a student's play. You can be critical of a recruit's credibility or their what they're going to be potentially. Do not personally attack someone. That is low class and beneath the dignity of Ohio State, in my opinion, and I'm sure you probably feel that same way about Michigan. You don't attack somebody personally. There's no reason for it. There's no need for it. As an Ohio State fan, I was embarrassed for our fan base when I saw this person doing this.
Yeah, of course.
It's not right. And I felt I had to call this person out. You don't do that. You don't attack a kid personally.
See, and that's why, Chris, this is why you're a good Buckeye fan, just like Garrison and Eric. No matter what people say. Okay, I go to a lot of these Michigan stuff. They don't say great stuff about you guys, and I get it because you guys bring up Hammer. First of all, you guys don't even bring up Hammer much. But it is what it is, and I just know you guys are just much better people than some of this community because of what you do with 2nd and 7. I'm not even trying to make this crap up. Like, you guys are great Buckeye fans, and what that story you told me. See, this is what I call a true Buckeye fan right there. You can talk trash about teams and coaches and stuff, but do not when a kid has not even he wants to choose. It's like, and then some of these kids are like, oh, he chose Syracuse over Michigan. Why? Hey, maybe he likes Syracuse campus better. I'm telling you, Syracuse is a nice city in New York.
It is. It's a beautiful city.
Upstate New York is my favorite region. Yeah, I'm going to let you know right now, Syracuse, New York is better than Ann Arbor. I'm going to tell you, I love upstate New York so much. It's my favorite region in America. It is. I would rather go to Syracuse than Michigan in terms of if beauty at least, and saying okay, why do you go to Michigan over a low bum Syracuse? Listen, Fran, you need to understand Syracuse head coach is better than Sharon Moore as we speak. You know that, right? 10-3.
He's a very good coach.
8-5. He's a really good coach at DC. Right now, I would rather, if I was a receiver, I'm just saying, I wouldn't mind going to Syracuse over Michigan because of them throwing the ball. A lot of these Michigan fans are not smart to not know. They just think oh yeah, go to Michigan. You're going to, they destroyed so many receivers. We had receivers like AJ Henning and a couple of guys. And even Darius Clemens, he was a really good receiver. But then they go to another school and they're getting more yards and they're producing, they're doing a really good performance. So, they don't use receivers well, Michigan. And, I can see why he went to Syracuse. And there's a lot of reasons why he chose Syracuse over Michigan. And so when people say, oh, why did you choose? I can't believe you choose Michigan over Iowa. No, he's choosing Syracuse because also he feels it'll develop him and make him go to the NFL. We never got a first-round receiver in how long? Man, since Braylon Edwards, man. That was 2003. So, all these Michigan fans just don't know. That's what's really making me frustrated. It's like they don't know their damn history, man.
Well,
that's what I'm pissed also at.
I'm glad you brought up the recruit thing too, Burks, because recruiting summit's been kind of a hot topic lately. Because let's call it what it is. The bags are ruining the game. And it's not so much paying the kids, because I think the kids deserve it. Don't get me wrong. The kids deserve to be compensated. They're the ones out there putting their necks on the line. They're the ones out there working for it. I don't have a problem with direct pay. I like the fact that they put some guidelines in for direct pay. I think they could have done a little better, but at least they instituted some guidelines for direct pay. NIL, they're trying to get the guidelines in place for that with this, since the House settlement. Which brings me to the point that you look at a lot of schools, and you look at a Texas Tech, a Texas, Michigan's doing it a bit, where they're front-loading contracts and basically making the promises of monopoly money for all intents and purposes. Because what it is those NIL deals still, they're promising these deals, but they still have to be approved through this new NIL office. And if they aren't approved, then they can't pay them those deals. They're front loading the contracts. I'm telling you, I think a lot of schools are setting themselves up for failure in the long run. So for me, I mean, I don't know what you think about what's your take as a Michigan fan on the way they are structuring these. Do you feel like in the long run it's going to be sustainable for Michigan, given the fact that you've got a specific amount of money you're allowed to pay from the school directly, and given the fact that you're going to have to go through the NIL office, do you think it's something that's sustainable and wise to promise these kids all this money up front?
No.
Without
No. Yeah, no, it's the worst thing probably ever. I'm actually getting depressed about. I don't even like to follow recruiting anymore, to tell you the truth. I only follow Michigan recruiting because I will search it up on Google, and once in a while I'll go on YouTube. I just to be curious about, But this was a 5-star receiver, so I did want to follow his recruitment. But like I said, man, recruiting is just it is just depressing to watch now. You guys could have landed at the Luke Waffle guy too, but if it wasn't for the money that USC gave, and I kudos to Ohio State for not overpaying him, because that guy was not a 5-star All-American talent. That's just my opinion. But like I said, man, if and also the NIL deals, man, some of these are really overblown. Like that Felix Ojo guy, someone was saying he was getting $3 million for 1 year. When it was 5 years, $3 million. So some of these deals I've noticed people are on Twitter just saying a lot of this crap, which we don't really know until they will put it on ESPN or Google or something. That's what I feel.
Here's the thing, that's the inflated NIL money though. That's what I'm talking about. It's 5 years, $3 million is what he's getting from the university, but then he's being promised $3.5 million or something that first year with NIL deals. But if he doesn't qualify for those NIL deals, because the office of NIL is going to basically put a valuation on everybody. Yeah. And then they can't pay him. Now all of a sudden you've got a kid you promised money to that you can't give him that money because you'll be in violation of the NCAA rules if you do. And now you got a pissed off kid who's going to transfer. That's what I'm saying. It's not a sustainable.
It's effed up, bro. It's really effed up, and I'm really pissed off at college football with this NIL crap, to tell you the truth. I'm super frustrated with it. I'm really pissed off on it. And the only good part is Wildman is schools like Syracuse and stuff can get big guys like Calvin Russell, for example, right? It won't be okay, Ohio State is getting every damn guy, and then some of these guys will never play and then they transfer and stuff like that. They can make an impact right away in the school. That's the only positive I see. But other than that, and I want Syracuse to be good. Listen, I lived in upstate New York for 3 years, when I was a kid in Albany, capital, for when I was in middle school. Mm-hmm. And, I did follow Syracuse, even though I was a Michigan fan even then. I did follow them. And, I'm actually glad, like, they got a 5-star. I was actually happy for them, to tell you the truth. What I wasn't happy was just because he didn't come to Michigan. Listen, I love my receiving core in our recruiting class a lot, to tell you the truth, of what recruits we got. But you just don't press a guy. Like, this is what frustrates me, man, about my fan base, and then them saying like, oh, we're the greatest fan base in all of the country. Like, bull crap, man, bullshit. Not the YouTube community. I'll tell you that right now. You're nowhere near the best fan base in all of YouTube, and I'm gonna talk trash if I want to talk trash about community, because I don't like how it's where it's going, my community, YouTube community, and that's why every Michigan fan on YouTube hates me, and I don't give a crap, to tell you the truth. So, I'm trying to be the right fan, the smartest fan I try to be when other fan bases can talk to me like, okay, you know what? He actually knows football somewhat. He can actually talk. We can actually have a conversation, a civil damn conversation, not a zoo, for God's sake. Like, that's
try.
what I want, a civil conversation. Like me and you are having, man.
Yeah, give me 1 second, Burks. David, I think that was the 330 number that called in was Dave. Dave, if you want to give us a call back, we'll be wrapping up here shortly with Burks. And guys, phone lines are open. We'll go as long as you're calling, but at the moment we have an open bank of lines. So yeah, Burks, if you want to hang with me for a couple more minutes, that'd be great. But yeah, so yeah, I'm with you. I don't. If it makes you feel any better, I think the Michigan fan base pretty much hates me too, and I'm okay with that. I made peace with that.
Yeah, man.
I don't know if they hate me as much as the Notre Dame fan base does, but I'm working on it. I'm trying hard.
No, I'm telling them that you're.
Kennedy's people don't like me too well.
I'm telling them you're a good guy.
People don't like me too well.
I'm telling them you're a good guy.
Don't lie to them,
I'm telling them you're a good guy. Yeah. Huh?
Don't lie to them. But
no, you are a good guy. I'm telling you, man. Like, with the stuff you do, I'm not even trying to like lie or make I'm not gonna try to betray you or lie or anything, dude. You are a good guy, so I'm not even. It's just, I was just a little frustrated of how, I just want to talk about my frustration and how the Calvin Russell stuff, of how people reacted to my fan base and just bashing him, and it's like, oh, he was 100% locked in. Listen, no one knows where these guys are going at the end of the day. So all this stuff off these message boards and, he was a silent commit, all bullshit. That's all. I just want to also say that.
Do you know what a silent commit is? A silent commit is a commit to flip. That's exactly what a silent commit is.
That's too funny, man.
I mean, I just.
All right, well, that's.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, that's what it seems like. A silent commit is nothing more than a commit to flip.
Yeah,
but,
man.
They're in the chat. They're in the chat, Burks, and they're trying to get us fired up. They're trying to get you and me both fired up again. Aaron says Chris is only a good guy when he doesn't mention Blue Bloods.
Oh yeah. No, listen, it's all love at the end of the day. I'm gonna, like, of course, and I apologize if I was a little aggressive. I just do that as like a kind of like a show type, like, to make it fun. I'm not really trying to get mad at you not calling a blue blood. Like, at the end of the day, I don't care what you say about my program. There's a reason why I'm here. You can say the worst stuff. I don't care, really, So yeah.
And I got Johnny, my dude. Again, nothing but respect. But I'm gonna call you out on this one, Johnny. Says somebody does something Burks doesn't like. Here he goes crying again. Let me tell you, Johnny, there is something to be said for exactly what Burks is talking about. There is a total lack of respect. Now, as I said, it exists in our fan base as well. There's a total lack of respect and decency towards these kids. These kids do not deserve to be personally attacked for any reason ever. In fact, I'll tell you, this is one, Burks, that it had me fired up yesterday. I'm surprised I still have a Facebook account and that they didn't take it away from me. Because I was on a Michigan, one of the Michigan social media pages, and going back and forth with a guy and just hitting him with every fact I had. And of course, he starts the name calling you. Continued him with facts, and then he pulls up a picture of me with my son and starts trash talking my son. my 12-year-old son, he'd have thought it would be a cool idea to start trash talking me. So let me tell you, at that point, I got a little fired up. Attack me all you want. I'm a big boy. I can handle it. You start attacking a preteen? Jesus Christ! What kind of sad, pathetic person are you? Attacking a kid. That's the same type of mentality that we have with these recruits right now, and it needs to stop. You want to know what that does? That encourages recruits not to want to come to your school. Because believe me, the next time a kid's deciding between Michigan and Syracuse, and he goes up there and he talks to Calvin up there at Syracuse and says, you know what? This is what they did to me the moment I decided I wasn't going to go to Michigan. Let me tell you, the moment that happens, Syracuse just got another recruit. These kids are not going to take that. They do not need to take that abuse. They shouldn't have to take that abuse. So. All right, man. Hey, it's been great talking to you, Burks. Look forward to talking to you again next time. You have a great night. OH.
Yeah,
Burks.
I'm not going to do it.
Okay.
Take care, man. Yeah.
You too. Bye.
Take care. Yep.
All right. That was the last caller in queue. I'll stay online for a couple more minutes and see if we have anyone else that wants to call in tonight. You know, guys, there's a lot to be said for what Burks was calling and talking about here. Like I said, I've witnessed it myself the last couple of days. The venom that's being spewed at the kids, the recruits, the venom that's being spewed between the fan bases. The rivalry was once a great thing. It's this kind of behavior that lessens it. So I really think that's something that we've all got to move past. Don't get me wrong. There is nothing wrong with going back and forth with a fan of the scum. But do it with facts. Do it with intelligence. Do it with the integrity that Ohio State has. Don't sink to their level. So, all right. Well, guys, we are going to go for about 2 more minutes. If no one wants to call in, we'll wrap up in about 2 minutes. It's been a great show tonight. We talked a little bit about recruiting. Of course, we got 2 big ones. We got our quarterback in Luke Fahey. Very, very excited about that. Tremendous young man. If you have not watched the video on him, I highly recommend that you do go over and watch his video, because I got to tell you, that kid is something else. He is a tremendous athlete. We got 2 calls in queue all of a sudden. I know that one. I know that one right away. How's it going, TG?
Yo, what up, Chris?
Oh, it's a beautiful day to be a Buckeye. It is. Of course, every day is a beautiful day to be a Buckeye when you're the defending national champs, right? I mean, it's a good thing.
Yeah, it always is.
Even when you got ignorance coming from the other side that just gets you burning up. And Burks, I'd almost put that out of my mind, and then Burks brought that up. Whew. Anyhow. So what's on your mind?
Well, actually, I've been listening to you guys call for a while. I'm not going to lie. I didn't feel like calling in early because I was busy doing some stuff. Plus, I started feeling a little tired. But right now, I could come in and talk about this.
Yeah.
Which was the whole thing with... Because I noticed I heard you and Sean talk about scum earlier.
Yes.
For the fun of it, regarding, especially because Sean is not lying. Him and I did a whole little pre-recorded on Paul Feinbaum, and towards the end, we did talk about the whole. He brought it up about Michigan fans' meltdown about Calvin Russell, and it's like I told him save the rest of it because we're gonna do another pre-recorded on that at some point. But I'm not gonna lie, I actually find it so funny that they're melting down that a 5-star wide receiver would not go to their program. Really? Like, y'all shocked by that?
Yeah. You
Are
know,
y'all really shocked?
why would you, if you're a 5-star receiver, go to that program? And I think, say what you will, Burks, I think, put it out there eloquently, because they do not use receivers the way a receiver should be used. They want to use a receiver as a tight end.
Yep.
They want to have 4 tight ends on the
Practically.
field. They want to throw the ball 10 times a game and run it 70.
I mean, if you're being realistic with yourself, they can't even develop receivers. Like, what right? Like, are people like, for instance, if Michigan wants a 5-star, you have to convince them. The only way that they're gonna get a 5-star receiver to come to their school is if you're paying them more money than Bryce Underwood. That's the only way they're coming to your school, brother. Like, you can't convince them to come to your school thinking they're gonna get developed when they've seen how trash your receivers are, man. You only get like 46 yards of passing a game. So I'm like, no, they don't want to be part of that. They want to be developed. Like, are you surprised that this kid with Syracuse? I mean, look at what Syracuse did. Look at what Tom McCord, even though, again, I will, again, say numbers mean very little when you're looking at film.
Yeah.
You look at what they did for Tom McCord. You look at what they did for the wide receiver. Because when you watch their wide receivers film who transferred to Penn State, he's pretty good. I mean, do I think he's all that? No, but I think he's a really good receiver. And look, that's all because Fred Brown and them were throwing the ball like that, man. If they had better quarterback play, probably could have won a lot more games. But I'm just going to say this now. They still threw the ball a lot, and the receivers still play pretty well. So, that's going to be enticing to a guy like Calvin Russell.
Yeah, exactly. And here's the thing with that, too. I think that the Michigan fan base is toxic. And you saw that in the way they reacted to that. I mean, nobody likes to lose a recruit. Did I want to see Felix Ojo come here instead of going to Texas Tech? Yes. Did I want to pay him that money? No. You don't pay that kind of money for somebody who's unproven, especially on a line position where it take him 2 years to develop into a starter.
Well, here's the thing, too. Like, when you got programs like Texas Tech who've never had that, they're willing to do it. When you got programs like Michigan that are so desperate, they will pay that kind of money to players. They'll do that. Now, I think Texas Tech can do that because I know they signed a lot of players, but I don't think they signed guys to the deals that they signed Felix Ojo to. Yeah. I think they can work within the confines of the rules regarding that because if it's within revenue sharing, I still think they got enough revenue to pay him money. And they can still give him NIL deals that fit within the billing. I do. So I think they can make it work just because of that. Especially because, like I said, they got 3 stars on their rosters. Not like they're paying a whole bunch of money to a bunch of 5 stars.
Yeah, but what does that say to the other guys on the line? Where, let's say, 20% of your revenue sharing is going to go to each position group, and you're giving one guy 15%. That 20 or 50% of that 20%. What does that say to the other guys in that room? I think that's an issue.
To them, they would say that they're not good enough. Obviously, it's going to be an issue, but here's my thing, and that's always going to be an issue. But that would be one thing if we're talking about scum and USC. We're talking about Texas freaking Tech that never gets top tier talent. No offense, I'm not going to disagree with that because that's going to cause problems. But what Texas Tech did is basically Felix Ojo is better than the majority of the talent that's already on their roster. I'm not going to lie. They believe that. He was a 5-star. They never had a 5-star. They got a bunch of 3-stars, a bunch of guys that are good, but they're not great. They're not elite. And that's what they think with Felix Ojo. Now, my thing is with Texas Tech, can you actually develop Felix Ojo? That would be my question. Because if the kid went to Texas, I see him being developed to be a great offensive lineman. Now, the fact that, and if he went to Ohio State, I can see that as well. Texas Tech, that's where I want to know. can develop him into a good offensive lineman where he was worth paying that kind of money, because that's where the proof will pretty much start. If he's worth that kind of money and he's playing like it, all right then.
Yeah.
Nobody will say anything. But if he isn't, somebody will say something.
And they should. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
You know, I can see where you say that it might be sustainable for Texas Tech. But if you look at a big picture, if you look at a big university, that's not a sustainable way to win.
Oh no, for a big for a big university, that is not sustainable whatsoever.
The front loading, the monopoly money, the shell game they're playing, it's not sustainable. You know, you're promising all these kids money through NIL that you may or may not be able to actually do. Then you got a bunch of pissed off recruits who are all going to enter the portal. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to predict this right now. I think this year you will see more freshmen enter the portal than you've ever seen. I think you will see more
I think so
freshmen
too.
enter the portal than ever before. And it's going to be because of these bad deals.
I think so too. As a matter of fact, here's what I think. I think that these schools like Scum and USC will have long-term damage to their programs from a financial standpoint because of them promising all this upfront money.
Going to have some of those Bobby Bonilla contracts out there.
I mean, let's be realistic. I know some of them are. Some people who aren't following these rules think that the whole rule with the NIL won't stand. It'll blow up. You know, when they take its court and stuff. Even though a federal judge had actually approved of this, but you know that's neither here nor there. But yeah, so I mean, and let's be real. Yes, they still need help from Congress to keep this approved.
Mm-hmm.
And if Congress can keep that up, and you know, you hear the fact that Donald Trump is in full support of this, which I can't believe I'm saying something about him. But, yeah, no, the president's full in support of this. We already know that he's trying to push for Nick Saban to be the commissioner, which I would have loved that, to be honest.
I actually agree with you. I think Nick Saban, would be a tremendous commissioner for college football. I think he's got obviously the knowledge of the game, but look at how long he had been in the recruiting world. Look at how long he'd been in the game to where he'd seen the uneven sanctions of the NCAA in the past. He's seen it from the coach's perspective. So for me, I really liked the idea of Nick Saban as a commissioner.
Yeah. And you know, it's funny because it's like, I think too, like us, because he can make rules for all, because that's what college football needs, is a commissioner, everybody to operate under the same rules and will be all working in one direction. And I want to get back to this too, because this also means we could probably have more punishments handed out quicker. So what's been going on lately, because I'm not going to lie, because when I look at everything going on from, because I know for a fact early in the show they brought up the whole, you know, Ohio State with the tattoo thing and how long it took for them to get us.
Well, that's because they complied.
Yeah, that's because Ohio State complied and they wanted this done and over with versus Scum, who have just been flipping them off, giving them double bird. And like I said, I be hearing them all the time talk about how this is going to be the easiest. Oh, they're just going to get nothing but a slap on the wrist. And you talked about this. But I had talked about this a little bit on the pre-record, I think. Or if I did, it was before we recorded on the show with Sean. And we were going to talk about this later. Where you know for a fact why the NCAA's punishments have been a lot harsher these last set of years than it has been in previous years.
They're setting it up.
You know why that is?
They're setting it up. They are setting themselves in a position to... They saw the writing on the wall, and I truly believe they're setting themselves in a position to set a precedent here. I think this was all about a build-up.
It's not just that. It's not just that. That's part of it. It's not just that. Do you know why the punishments beforehand were so much softer? Do you know why that is? Before they started handing out these harsh punishments, do you know why their punishments were not as heavy as they should have been. Do you know why that is?
I mean, there's
The
lots of
reason why?
ideas, but what's your thought on it?
No. There's one reason. There's one reason, and it's a big reason. It was a outside committee of judges that voted on these things.
Right.
Bleeding hearts who didn't want to punish these kids. You know why the NCAA's punishments are so much harsher now? It's because they're handling everything in-house now. There will be no more of these outsider bleeding hearts anymore. The people who are judging Michigan on their scandals will be people from within the NCAA. So everybody who's handing out these punishments are people from within the NCAA now.
Yes.
So meaning when the NCAA comes on them harshly, if Michigan even tries to appeal, it's going back to the very same people who basically worked for the entity they gave the double birth to like an idiot.
Yeah.
So like they're not gonna appease your appeal. Like they're just gonna toss it out the side and say, yeah, like as if we're gonna get an appeal. No, you deserve every bit of the penalty you get. That's what myself and Sean had talked about. And it was something that was brought up on
TG, hold on just 1 second.
Moses on
give me 1 second, TG. 317, I do see you in queue. I see that you've been holding it for a little bit. Bear with us for a few minutes. We will get you on the line here shortly. Go ahead, TG. So you're talking about something you saw on B. Moses.
Yeah, it was something he had said, and I mentioned this before, where and he was right about this, because I always wondered why they got so much harsher. And when he said it was handled in-house, and I did my own research, he was right. They're handling this in-house from now on because they want to be the enforcers. So I know we all believe, like some people have believed that this could be, you know, that the NCAA can make this, like this could be easy punishment. I don't think it will be. I think the NCAA hates Michigan so much because they gave them the double bird, because they refuse to follow the rules. I really do believe the punishments are going to be harsher than we think. I think there's a chance that Sherrod Moore gets a 2-year show cause. Michigan gets a 3-year bowl ban. At the utmost, they could get 5. To be honest, there's the utmost they could get that 3 to 5 years. Their Big Ten titles will get stripped away because that's all Sonny Petitti is just waiting for the NCAA to give him the okay so he can strip Michigan of the Big Ten championship. That's already been settled. Their 3 years of wins are going to go away, and their natties are going to go away. And I do believe they will get fines and severe recruiting restrictions, as well as because of what they're doing in NIL right now. I would actually go on the limb to say that I think there is a chance that they could get some more penalties if the CFP holds up.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, TG. Hey, I gotta run. I got another caller on the line. So great talking to you. Of course, tomorrow night, guys, Sean and TG will be in the Buckeye Lounge, 8 p.m. Eastern.
We have a special guest on there too.
Got a special guest coming on tomorrow night, and
his name is Nate from the Covers, from the Man Covers podcast. He's a great dude. You guys are gonna love talking to him. He knows football, brother. I'll watch the show. He's good.
So there you have it. Nate will be on their special guest tomorrow night, guys. So make sure you go over, check out the Buckeye Lounge right here on the OHIO Podcast Network. TG, have a great night. OH. Go Bucks. Okay, guys, we got one caller left in queue. I'm about to pull this up. We're going to wrap up the show after that. Hi, caller. Who's on the line?
Hi, Chris. It's Lacey.
Hey, Lacey. How you doing?
I'm good. I was calling to thank you for my prize. I received it in the mail.
Excellent. Absolutely. Great. Yeah, Sean told me yesterday you got it.
Yeah, Sean's a goofball. And shout out to TG. She's the Wolverine Slayer. I love her. You didn't have to cut her off for me. And shout out to all my friends in chat. I love you all.
Yeah, we do. We have an absolutely awesome chat here that's been live tonight. Had a couple of Wolverines hanging out in the chat. You know, we had a couple of Wolverines hanging out tonight. We had Johnny was over here for a good portion of the night. We had Burks.
Right. Burks is okay. I like Burks.
He is. And you know what? Yes. As Michigan fans go, I got to tell you, Johnny's not a bad guy. He's He's a character.
Right.
But he's not a bad guy from everything I've seen. But then again, I haven't seen
Well,
that
and
much.
yeah, I mean, I agree. And then the one that Eric had on, the real nice guy, he was
he's
really
awesome.
nice too.
Yeah, we're looking forward to
Yes.
collaborating with him again too. He is
Yes.
such a nice guy.
But listen, I'm not going to keep you long. I just wanted to thank you.
Absolutely.
And you guys are awesome. And I love you all. And I'm always in the shadows if I don't talk and chat. But Tyler always like times them out before I can even get a chance.
Tyler takes his job very seriously. But you know what?
I'll
tell you,
Tyler. He's one of my
he's
favorites.
awesome. Yeah, we've got a great group. We've got a great group of mods. We've got
yes, you do.
a great group of pod squatters and guys. Just so you know, there's going to be a lot of new merchandise, including some Pod Squad merchandise. That's going to be popping up in our store over the next few weeks. We've also got, and Sean is aware of this. I don't think Eric and TG are yet, but Sean and I saw the mock-ups. There's going to be some new shirts featuring myself and Eric and TG and Sean.
Awesome! I will definitely be promoting those. And
those are really kind of cool. They're being done by our friend Tony, also known as Curse Design in the chat. He did the design.
I love Tony. He is a good dude, his show's awesome too. I love Tony.
Yes. Yeah, and funny story, and I didn't know until just recently. Well, I mean, I think Tony said something to me about a couple months ago, but Tony's, oh my gosh. I don't know if I can handle that, Aaron. I don't know if we actually truly need a Dan the Man t-shirt. I don't know if the world is ready for a Dan
Tyler,
the Man
you
t-shirt.
need it. Tyler's going to buy it first. I'm joking, Tyler.
But Kevin, I can go ahead and I'll give everybody the passcode, but there's not a lot on there right now. As like I said, we are switching. Right now it is, I believe the password is POD2025. That is our current password for free shipping.
Okay.
But
awesome.
Guys, within the next couple weeks, a lot more merchandise is going to start showing its way into the store. We do have for our female listeners, we've got some great Pod Squad earrings that are coming along. And OHIO podcast earrings. I think I got a couple of the sample mock-ups.
Cool.
There. We got some keychains coming up. They're going to be done. Just some little things to go with all the big things we do. So a lot of great items coming out in the store here in the near future.
Great merchandise.
Lots of new merchandise. We're going to be doing some new things. And hey, I'm really looking forward to this weekend because we're going to have some great giveaway things after this weekend because we're going down and doing another one of Ryan Wickerham's football camps. We tend to get quite a few autographs to give away at those football camps. So I'm pretty excited about that.
And the autographs are great, everybody. The picture that you sent me is so fabulous.
Yeah, you got the Sam.
I mean, honestly, thank you.
I'm glad you mentioned that because about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, you guys came together to get something for Buck Vader. It has arrived and will be going out in the mail tomorrow. I've got it right here.
Yay, Buck Vader! Awesome.
We've got the autographed Keith Byers, which is a Beckett certified autograph. So that'll be going out in the mail. I got to get a hold of Eric and get the address because I believe he also sent out a Ryan Miller, but those are coming from two different locations. So yeah, we got some great autograph stuff.
You're the best.
Well, thank you so much.
And I'm not going to. I just want to call in and say thank you. And I love you and Eric and everybody else. And I just wanted to say thank you. So, you know me. I'm not going to keep you on the phone any longer.
All right, Lacey. Well, you have a great night. OH.
You too, sweetie. IO.
Go Bucks. All right, guys. Wow. What a great show tonight, guys. We've gone a little over 2 hours tonight. Or right at 2 hours tonight. Great show. Lots of great callers. Guys, make sure you're remembering to like, subscribe, consider becoming a member. It's only $3.99 a month. You'll get free shipping from the online store, which is going to have a lot of great new merchandise in it soon. You're going to be able to get free access to our Big Ten Preview magazine. It's a really great deal at $3.99 a month. So, again, don't forget Tuesday night, 8 o'clock, the Buckeye Lounge with Sean and TG. We are going to have a big interview coming up. Sean and I have an interview scheduled that we're supposed to do Wednesday night. So we're really excited and looking forward to that. That's something that'll drop later this week, most likely. Thursday night, I will be back to do Eric's call-in show, as he will still be vacationing, working his way through the New England states. And then Sunday night, Eric will be back. And guys, I'm going to be taking myself a little vacation. So you guys, look forward to seeing you on Sunday. And good night. God bless, and go Bucks.